Do you have what you want to have in your life? Are you being who you want to be, doing what you want to do in relation to your body, your health, your relationships, your finances? My name is Angela Powers, and I'm here today with David Essel. He's a coach and an author of 9 books. His latest book is Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but This Book Will. And today we're going to talk about the 5,000-pound gorilla. And we're getting deeper into the book. We've been doing these sessions now for a few weeks, and I believe we're on chapter 4. And we're going to talk a little bit about this and maybe even share a little bit about my story and the 5,000-pound gorilla that I had to face in breaking through to have success in my life. So thank you so much, David, for being here with me today.
Angela, oh, you're welcome, honey. This is like one of the biggest chapters. I mean, we think every chapter is huge. Whenever you write a book, every line is important, you know? But this one is really big because we're talking about what separates people who are really successful from those people who keep setting intentions, creating affirmations, creating vision boards, but they just never break through. So this 5,000-pound gorilla is what separates those people who are really incredibly successful in life from the people that just want to be successful. And the cool thing is that wherever you are, whatever you want to change in your life. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that everyone can become a millionaire or everyone can become a size 2 or a 4 or everyone can become a, like, that kind of whimsical thinking just isn't reality. It doesn't mean that you can't make a lot more money than you're making right now. And it doesn't mean you can't have a great body. Or if you've had 4 divorces or 6 really terrible relationships, it doesn't mean that you can't have a great relationship. It's just that you're going to have to do something radically different than what you're doing right now to get what you want. And that's where this 5,000-pound gorilla comes in. And, one of the questions is that, how do you access it? And what is the gorilla? Now, Angela, you and I started working together years ago, and you came and you hired me as a coach for what reason?
Oh my goodness. At the time, I can't even remember what I started with, because we started working on something that I didn't even realize I wanted to work on.
Well, it's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, and this happens with about 75% of our clients. They come to us with one goal that they think. Angela came to me because she wanted to get more organized.
That's right.
Remember that?
I still want to get more organized.
Her house was cluttered and she wasn't happy with where she was working. And so we worked together for a few weeks and I said, oh my God, Angela, this has nothing to do with clutter and organization. What the real true issue is that you're not making enough money. You're overly stressed. Remember, Angela?
Mm-hmm.
And Angela's friends and well-meaning friends, well-meaning family members were going, you don't have the money for this kind of a coaching program. I do remember that.
Oh yeah, they thought I was crazy. Oh yeah.
I know. And so, for our viewers right now watching this, there's a lot of times when we go after major goals in life, we don't have a lot of support. I'll be honest with you. Family members that don't want you to risk and lose, whether it's in love or with a gym membership or with a coaching program or going to a new church or whatever it is, they want you to stay safe, even if safe doesn't get you what you want. So when Angela came to me within a couple of weeks, I'm seeing this pattern that has nothing to do with organization. It has to do with she really needs to make more money. Now, some people will come to us and they'll say, I really want to make a lot more money, and it's something different for them. About 25% of people who come to us to do the work will actually hit the nail right on the head with what the major goal is. But so when I started working with Angela, I said, listen, there's this unlimited potential inside of you to make a lot more money, but you're going to have to activate what we call the 5,000-pound gorilla. And the gorilla is unlimited potential. It's the person that's 100 pounds overweight that can lose the 100 pounds, and the gorilla wants you to be successful. It's the person struggling with money that needs to be making a lot, maybe double their income, like what we did with Angela in just 90 days. The gorilla is that untapped potential, but here's the key. You need to feed the gorilla. And the gorilla wants to eat and get even bigger than 5,000 pounds, but the only way it's going to grow is if you do what you would rather not 5 days a week. And this whole chapter in the book, positive thinking will never change your life, but this book will. As a matter of fact, I don't know how it is, I always have a copy of this around me, but they just seem to be attached to my body like Velcro. But in this book, positive thinking will never change your life, but this book will. The myth of positive thinking, the reality of success, is that a lot of people have bought into that whole notion that you can affirm your way, vision board your way, visualize your way to making a lot of money or to getting a great body or whatever, and it's just not going to happen. But if you tap into those steps that you would rather not take, that activates the gorilla. You do it long enough, the gorilla gets really excited. Then what used to be a lot of hard work, it's just get up, brush your teeth. It's get up, brush your teeth. It's get up, do the work.
Yeah, and I remember I was drawn to you because I had heard you on the radio, and I had gotten in my mind that I needed a coach because I really, and something had to change in my life, and I wasn't quite sure what, or I thought I knew, you know, and then part of that original process was, what do you think is going to be the thing that's going to make the biggest impact? You know, and I'm looking around, and it's funny because, you know, when you first start asking yourself that question, there's not necessarily a lot of awareness of what that really is until you start actually, you know, really talking about it, or even trying a few avenues, trying a few things and seeing what comes up.
Yeah. You know, and I remember when working with Angela, and we do this with all of our clients, what she just said was dead on, is we ask the client to say, what area of your life is creating the most chaos and stress and drama? What area of life has been like that for a while now? What area of life, if it were to radically change, would change your whole existence? And some people would say, oh my gosh, it's my health. Some people would say it's my weight. Some people would say it's, you know, I'm in a terrible relationship or a terrible marriage. I'm not, and I haven't done anything about it. Or I'm miserable and single and I haven't really done anything about it. Or I don't have a great spiritual path, or I'm struggling with an addiction. And with Angela's case, when she looked at all the different areas of her life, it was what was causing the most stress was an inadequate income. And then on top of that, she had belief systems because she didn't have an advanced degree and because she didn't have a lot of experience that she couldn't change her financial situation. But then we go back to that time. What was that, Angela, like 8 years ago or so?
At least, I think 9 or 10, I think.
10? Woo!
I know.
Years ago. Unbelievable. And so here's the program that I gave to Angela. Now she's working, you know, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day in a job that was very unfulfilling. I had her get up every morning, and I think it was like 4:30 her time, and we did a quick coaching call. Then she had to go to work, and then after work, she put in 2 hours a day, 5 days a week into revamping her resume, putting it, I don't know if this is still popular these days, but there was message boards and employment boards. We had her reach out to all of her past contacts, which she had a ton. And we reached out to them, not just saying, do you have a position for me, but do you know someone that might, which is a big difference. People might get defensive and feel uncomfortable if you say, hey, do you have a job for me? But if you go, hey, you know, if you know of anyone, here's my resume that could benefit. And oh my God, Angela busted her butt. That gorilla became awake, alive. And I'm not saying it was easy. It wasn't easy, was it, honey?
No, in fact, you know, I remember that, and I think it's because that's why I came up with organization, because I'm very practical. I'm like, what can I do? What's possible for me? And doubling my income was not even possible for me. That was like, this is not going to happen. So, okay, I'll give it a try. You know, I'm going to put the work in. We'll see.
I know. And that's very common, you know, like when we had done work for a number of weeks and I knew that it couldn't be organization, there had to be something more. And then we finally got to the thing with finances, and she was telling me how much she made. And I said, oh my gosh, we can double your income. And I think we can do it in 90 days, which obviously in Angela's situation, she's probably sitting there going, this guy's a crackpot.
Maybe they were right. I am crazy.
I know, right? Then she's starting to look at her family members and friends and going, damn, they know a lot more than me. This guy's thinking I can double my income. And, you know, but here it is. This is the gorilla. How do you activate it? So you activate it by reaching out and getting help, like Angela did. She hired me. So who is it that you need to hire? Who do you need to, is it a coach? Is it a counselor? Is it a therapist? Is it a personal trainer? Is it a dietitian, a sports nutritionist? Like, who is it that you have to hire, right? Do you have to join mastermind groups? Like, what is it? Are there organizations, associations you have to get more active in, networking events, whatever? I mean, you've got to surround yourself with support. You're not going to do it alone. And this is something we say in the chapter in the book. Try all you might, no matter how intelligent you think you are, how driven. If you were ready to do it on your own, you'd already have it. You'd already have it. If you think you can get yourself out of these difficult situations on your own, you're wrong, because you already would have. So you got to reach out, number one. Number two is that working with a professional, you've got to set timeline, 5 days a week for major goals with a certain amount of time. Today, we usually say anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Feeding the gorilla, which means doing what you don't want to do, feeds the gorilla. Gain momentum. It increases self-esteem. It increases confidence. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Doing what scares the heck out of you, doing what you'd rather, for some people, it's walking into a gym. They'll say, well, when I lose 30 pounds, I'll go join a gym because I'm very self-conscious. That would be a key, that's your one thing to go after. Think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting because when you think about it in terms of the positive thinking, I was hanging on to a very small shred of, I'm going to take this as, in the grand scheme of things, it could be possible, but I still didn't believe it in my bones, and it's when you think of it in terms of like vision boarding and like, when people visualize and they feel it and they know they can just get into the emotion of it. I wasn't there like until after it had happened. And then it still had to sink in. Like, I'm making twice as much as I did before. Really? Now I feel like a fraud.
Angela just said something really crucial that I want to jump all over, is that you don't have to believe it to make it happen. And in the beginning, you may not. It doesn't matter. Like, some people they're waiting to be ready. They're waiting to get into the right attitude. They're waiting to see if they can somehow, no. And that's what happens with the gorilla in this chapter in the book. We say, you don't have to believe that this is going to happen. Just do the freaking work, and eventually the belief will come because you're feeding the gorilla by doing what you'd rather not do 5 days a week. And it happened to you, Angela.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm still learning this lesson. Like, you could apply this today in certain things in my life that I'm like, oh, I don't know. Now I'm like, oh, I'm going to be thinking about this all day today.
Yeah. And we tell people all the time, it's not that we're against positive thinking. It's just that we know it's only going to count for about 20% of someone's success. So you could have a person that gets up and does what they don't want to do 5 days a week, and they could actually be a negative thinker. This is never going to work. I don't think this will ever work. I don't think I'll ever make double my income. I don't think I'll ever lose 100 pounds. You could repeat negative thoughts. You could have negative you could have negative vision boards, for God's sake, saying you suck. You'll never accomplish anything. But if you do the work, you're going to be successful. When people come in for addiction recovery, I always say they go, I've been drinking for a long time, or smoking for a long time, or spending money for a long time. I don't know if this is possible. I always tell people, Angela, the same thing. I say, if you have 10% belief, that means 90% of you doesn't think you can get sober. That's all I want. We'll do the rest. We'll get you there. We just need 10%. And in the book, in this chapter, we keep talking about this. There's been these erroneous messages by well-meaning authors and teachers and coaches and speakers about how you have to believe your way there. If that was that easy, all you had to do is sum up emotion with your affirmation, vision board, visualization. If that's all you had to do and that would work, then everyone would have what they wanted already. Because we've all probably been doing that. But it doesn't work. So in the book, we get really excited saying, I know this is going to be challenging. That's why you need a team. Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with people that push you, that hold you accountable, and activate that 5,000-pound gorilla until the gorilla is leading you way ahead of you. And then you can reap the benefits of whatever it is that you want to get out of life. And these are massive keys of success. And it's not just David Essel, Angela Power keys of success. In the book, we have 6 New York Times bestselling authors that endorse my work with their own personal stories. We have another 5 incredibly successful people that tell their stories of how they've lost the weight and gone from homeless to multimillionaire. Single mom, Natalie Pace comes to mind. Single mom struggling almost on the street, becomes a multi-millionaire in the world of finances. At one point was ranked as the #1 stock picker in the United States of America. This is a chick who self-educated herself. She went out there and learned how to be a financial wizard, and she surrounded herself with incredibly wise financial people.
Amazing.
You know, her story is incredible. You know, single mom, almost on the street, becomes this multimillionaire, and she writes in her book about how positive thinking could actually hold some people back if they're waiting for life to come to them while they're saying their affirmations.
I know, it's that waiting until you're ready.
Yeah. You know, and Angela knows this. Most of us, to do the big hard work, we're never going to be ready. If she waited till she was ready to double her income, she'd still be waiting.
I would have went down with the WAMU ship. Yeah.
I know it. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes.
Oh man. Yeah. And you know, leaving that company did feel like I had jumped out of an airplane that summer, and I always, you know, remember those two things happening at the same time in my life, and how like leaving that company and that security and that, you know, the success I had there felt like jumping out of an airplane. What the heck is going to happen?
And, you know, that's nice that you say that, because for everyone watching right now that wants a radical change in your life, there will come this whole thing of faith, you know, leaping and the net's going to appear. You know, just think about that. Leap and the net will appear. Leap and the net will appear. Leap and we have to jump. You know, we have to have some belief, but you don't have to have a lot of it, quite frankly. The more you do the work, the more you do what you'd rather not do, the more vulnerable you get, the more you ask for help, the greater the odds of success. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter about your family background. It doesn't matter about really anything other than you making a decision to ask for help, be held accountable, and do it. And then let me go back to the analogy with the gorilla. Mm-hmm. The gorilla is that internal spark, that internal part of you that really has no limitations. And it knows you can accomplish great things with relationships, money, your body, your spiritual path, whatever it is you're trying to change in life, letting go of addictions. That gorilla is that spark, and it's waiting to be fed. And I want to repeat this again. The only way to feed that 5,000-pound gorilla is by doing what you'd rather not at first. Over time, doing those steps on a daily basis that you'd rather not just becomes who you are. And in the book, we have hundreds of examples. I mean, I have 11 people that wrote their own articles, and then we have hundreds of other examples of very successful people, people that you've never heard of before, and all of them had to do the same thing. They had to get uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And how do you know you're taking the right action?
Oh my God, that's a great question. In the beginning, it's better to take the wrong action than to wait.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather have someone going down the wrong path, but doing steps on a daily basis to change than sitting and waiting. You know, the fence, procrastination, is hell on earth. If you want to, it's not going to say it in your dictionary, but in mine it does. You know, procrastination, the definition is hell on earth. When you sit on the fence waiting for the right person, the right time, the right opportunity, you sit your whole life. When you sit on the fence and you're reaffirming positive affirmations every day, visualization, vision boards, and nothing's changing while you're waiting it to change because you read in a best-selling book that it works, it doesn't work unless it's a miracle. And we always hold hope for a miracle, but miracles don't come every day, at least not in my life and not in the clients I've seen. But people who work their tail off over time, that's what activates the gorilla. That's what moves you into a new place. And so and Angela's question was great. Don't worry if they're the right or wrong steps. Just freaking go.
Yeah, I know. I think it reminds me of that quote. There's a quote about, you know, you won't regret the things you did do. You'll only regret the things you didn't do. And so it reminds me of that a little bit. Like, you know, that's why my inner perfectionist, I want to do it right.
Yeah, and a lot of times people who have that perfectionistic attitude, they're in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they haven't written the book, they haven't risked and fallen in love, they haven't tried to lose the weight, they haven't let go of the addiction, their finances are still a mess because they're waiting and waiting and waiting. Leap. Leap, leap, leap. Julia Cameron is the one who wrote the book, The Artist's Way. She's the one that came up with that statement, leap and the net will appear. As you watch these videos that Angela and I do every Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time, like the whole purpose of these is to inspire you to change. You know, the book, which is available on Amazon.com, Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life. You know, it's only $10. I think the ebook is $4.99, $5. Grab it, surround yourself. But, and I'm going to say a big but here, don't expect a book is going to change your life. It's going to give you the tools that you need, the information. We're coming from a totally different angle than everyone else is coming from. You know, last week I did a radio interview with this woman, Brenda Wade, who's a brain scientist. And she brought me on to do the interview. And she said, you know, quite frankly, I think that we're going to probably agree to disagree. You know, like she was really convinced that, you know, the mind is much more powerful than you think it is. Do you know, at the end of the 30-minute interview, she said, I never thought I'd tell you this, David Essel, but you've convinced me. No way. Yeah. You know, here's a woman that was ready to be contentious or ready to say, I'm going to prove with studies that what you're talking about in this book is incorrect. And at the end of it, she came around and said, oh my God, what you've written here is miraculous. I didn't think I'd ever tell you that, David Essel. It is. Wow. Pretty cool. Yeah, really cool. And it's that 80-20 rule, right? It is important. But it's 20%. Yeah, and what Angela is talking about is 20% of your success will come from affirmations, visualization, meditation, prayer. 80% will come from eliciting that gorilla, waking up the gorilla, doing what you'd rather not do, risking and spending money on a coaching program, a counseling program, a financial program, risking and putting money and effort into the gym, risking and letting go of an addiction. All of this stuff is uncomfortable. That's why you'll be successful. Gosh, like Angela Powers. I cannot remember how many times I was just bitching and moaning and, oh, that David Essel, as I did my whatever I had to do, you know. Yes, there's a lot of people that feel that way, Angela. I know that way. Oh, and you know what? And if you're watching right now and you want more information and some of the people that have endorsed the book, go to talkdavid.com. Because even before you go to Amazon, you'll see hundreds of endorsements up there, and they're coming in more and more every day. So, Angela, I'm so glad we can do this together. Thank you. Thank you so much. So people can find you at talkdavid.com. Yes. Awesome. And they can find the book on Amazon.com and probably your website too, if they go there. Awesome. And then just sneak preview, there is a course coming where, you know, if you sign up for the course, you can work your way through the book. You get a free copy of the ebook. And that's getting very close, David, to being done. I can't wait. And Angela is creating this whole online course for everyone that wants to get even more deeply involved in an interactive way with the course. So that's coming soon. You're right. Yeah, it's exciting. Thank you, Angela. You have a great week. I'll see you next Monday. I'll see you next Monday. Good stuff. Bye.